Hey folks, Keough here doing something that I usually don't do, which is to post what I guess is basically an entire session in one video. Not going to do any editing to it, I'm just going to post it and let it play. And basically what I did today, so this isn't my entire deadlift session, but this is just the dynamic effort work that I did on this particular day. I haven't done a dynamic effort deadlift session in quite a long time, and I decided for this week, especially after last week, struggling as much as I did and just feeling like my SI joint was really starting to flare up again, I made the decision to, this week, just do some speed work, keep the weights down, so use some submaximal weights and do some speed work, and even limit the number of repetitions that I performed on the individual sets for my speed work. So I went with 30-second to 1 minute rest intervals. I think I ended up doing 11 sets. 11 sets at 2 with 315. 315 is just over 50% of my max of my best lift in competition, which is 601. So I imagine it's something like 52% or something like that. But anyway, I ended up doing 11 doubles, and then I did 3 long sets, doing some block pulls with 365, just really focusing on killing my lockout. And ended up training with a friend of mine from our powerlifting team. His name's David, and we had planned to do this, and I really like when I do these dynamic effort sessions, which, again, I haven't done probably in at least a year. I really do like doing them with somebody else because it helps to have somebody else there to rotate in and out with, and to generally try and push you as much as possible. So I'm just gonna leave it uncut. I'm not gonna edit any of the footage, so you get to see my pulling and you get to see his pulling. And I'm just my focus for this day was just to try and it's a dynamic effort training session, so I'm just trying to move the weight as fast as possible while still not pulling in such a way that I end up hurting my SI joint. And I was very happy to discover that doing this sort of submax work didn't really bother my SI joint at all. So that was good. I got out of this training session pain-free, which was my ultimate goal for the day. I wanted to keep my speed up, and I wanted to keep my technique with my pulling while I try and recover this week. And then next week I'm going to do sort of an abridged session in which I do a few heavy singles, probably working up to around 550, and that'll be my last session before this next meet, and I should be feeling really good coming into this meet. So this was a nice session. It was a nice change of pace. I really haven't done any dynamic effort work for really the last year, simply because I've gotten so good at producing bar speed off the floor that it really seems unnecessary for me to continue building upon what I think is a strength of mine. So I've instead been really focusing on my lockout, and my lockout has gotten substantially stronger. Number one, because I made a technical change, moving my feet out and also turning my toes out, which allows for me to engage my hips and my glutes a little bit better. And number two, just doing a lot of whether it be pulling off the floor or pulling with some sort of movement variation, a low block pull or a high block pull, doing a lot of dedicated lockout work, and doing that with high volume training for a lot of repetitions. And so that has really helped, and it has also changed my strength curve a little bit. So my strength curve is not as disproportionate as it used to be. I used to fly off the floor and not really be able to lock anything out. I used to slow down. I'd say even as low as 75%, I'd start to slow down at lockout. And it's not that way anymore. It's not as egregiously one-sided, emphasizing or favoring the pull off the floor, the initial break off the floor. So that's good, because I really do have to even out my strength curve. But eventually, at some point, I will probably make rate of force development a concern in my training again. It just isn't a concern right now. But so I really pushed David through this training session. Again, it's really nice to have somebody to train with. So I tried to keep the pace up. I tried to give him a little bit of a break. I didn't keep the pace too fast, but I wanted to keep the pace moving. I wanted to make him pull at about every minute. So I think 315, I think his best set for that is 14 reps. So I figured if I could push him to do at least 8 sets and do it in like 8 minutes time, then that would be moderately difficult for him. He really struggles with his first pull off the floor, and then his second pull is a lot faster. And you're going to see that later on. And I empathize with this because it's the same thing for me in squatting. And usually this is just a psychological issue. Usually it's just a matter of not being psychologically prepared to produce maximal force on the first repetition. And that's difficult to train. And I empathize with it because the same thing happens to me on my squat. Particularly heavy rep squats, the first rep is usually slower than the second rep for me. And so it's something that I'm working really hard to fix, but I don't quite know how to fix it yet. So I still have to continue working on it. Just as a general update on my training, since I have so much time to talk on this video, I'm really happy with how my training is going. The first half of this training cycle was awful, but I've really started to pick things up, and training, I think, a little bit less. Training 5 days a week has helped. Increasing the average RPE on my sets, decreasing the volume, increasing the intensity slowly over the course of these last 4 or 5 or 6 weeks. That's all I think really helped me, and I do feel like I'm peaking properly for this meet. So that remains to be seen. It'll just depend on what I do on the platform, but I feel really happy with my numbers. I didn't record a video of this week, but I ended up doing 485 for a set of 5 with my reverse band squat, which far outpaces a lot of my other rep maxes. I done 480 for 4, I done 495 for 3, I done 505 for 2, and so it was certainly a harder set than some of those other sets, but I really feel like the heavy reverse banded squats have helped my squat. I did a 515 squat last week. I'm probably going to look to attempt a 500-pound double in training tomorrow. I want to stay at or around 500 pounds, but I don't want to continue to progress my deadlift up. I think 515 should be the heaviest, or squat rather. That should be the heaviest squat that I hit. So yeah, I'm thinking about a 500-pound double. I'll maybe attempt it if it's there tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll just take a single and move on. But really happy with how my squat feels. 485 should not be an issue at the meet. I think 507 should be fine as long as I acclimate to the settings of the meet, as long as I feel good after my recomp, and as long as I just squat hard and take it seriously, which I know I'm going to do. I should be able to hit 507. You know, I really do feel like I should be able to hit 507. I have hit more in training now, and so that gives me a lot of confidence. But even with 485, I'm due for a high 13s, maybe even a 1,400-pound total. I'll definitely finish, I would say, over 1,380 if I squat 485, and I don't see any way in which I don't squat 485. So really all I have to do is post a total to hit a PR total, because I'm going to open substantially higher, something like 17 pounds higher than I opened last time. Bench is feeling good. 275 for 5 was a great PR for me. Floor pressing felt good. I've got another floor press session coming up on Sunday, and then after that I'll do 1 week of benching. Should feel all healed up at that point. Bench, again, really feels like it's coming together. I'm a little bit stronger right now than where I was last training cycle. So I feel really good about that. I feel good about my ability to hit something in the neighborhood of 314 on bench. And deadlift I think will be fine too. I've hit good numbers in training. I don't see any way in which I'm a sub 600 pound puller at this point. That doesn't mean that I'll pull over 600 pounds at the meet, because you never know what happens and you have to select the right attempt. But I do think that I'll open at 573. I'll hit that with no problems. I don't know how that could possibly be a problem unless something is seriously wrong. And then after that, I'll just progress based on where I think, or what numbers I think I need to hit in order to hit a certain total. So maybe I take another sub 600 attempt just to post 1400, or maybe I jump up. I am thinking about, if my deadlift goes well, at least going 606 for a small meet PR, but if I feel good, I'll push it even further than that. Otherwise, I feel great coming into this meet. This is probably as strong as I've ever been coming into a meet. And it's interesting, psychologically, I feel very different from previous meets. David's getting tired here, but I'm making him still pull. And you can see just how much faster that second rep is. It's something that he has to figure out, but it's something that he will figure out. Anyway, I always feel confident coming into a meet. I never feel nervous. I know I've always done the work in training. I've always done the best I can. I enjoy meets. I don't get anxious at all. I don't feel any nerves associated with them when I go and compete at a meet, but I just feel different coming into this one. I don't know if it's a matter of confidence, because I always know what I can do, but I'm always quick to say, well, I'll just do whatever I'm capable of doing on that day. And honestly, I just feel like this is the meet where I'm going to go and I'm going to get my PR total. I'm going to make it happen. And hopefully I end up making 1400 happen. And I just feel like I'm going to wake up that morning and I'm going to go to where the meet is held, and I'm going to put together a list for 1400, and then I'm going to walk out and go enjoy the rest of my day. So, I'm not going to guarantee it, because there are no guarantees in life, but I feel from the bottom of my heart that that's what's going to happen, and I'm looking forward to it. It's been a long time coming. I've been very focused this training cycle. I'm ready for it to happen. I'm excited for it, and I'm looking forward to posting some good news, finally. Anyway, keep checking in. I will have more videos for you very soon.